Hello YouTube, I'm Nicolette Amarillas. I'm a strength coach and a posture and movement specialist, and we are deep diving into the barbell deadlift today. Yes, my favorite lower body move of all time. My favorite because I love the glutes, the hamstrings, and I love feeling strong. But this exercise is extensive. There's lots to know. There's lots to make sure that you do and you don't do, and we are going to deep dive into all of it. I want you to leave this video feeling super confident in your ability to execute the deadlift with strength. Let's dive in. I'll be using tonal today, but all the tips and cues I give you can be utilized with the barbell at the gym. Everything is exactly the same, aside from just how I set my body up on tonal. Let's first just go over our body position and then our body in relation to the barbell before we even set up with weight. I'll face you for a moment with my barbell detached. So at the bottom of the deadlift is where we start. The feet are hip distance and the toes are forward. So we don't want to be turned out. We don't want to be too narrow, okay? So feet hip distance. And your hands are going to be a little wider than the shoulders, enough that they clear the knees. What I don't want to see is your hands touching your knees the entire time. We want to make sure that they're not obstructing the knees when you're in the deadlift. Now, range of motion wise is gonna change for everyone. For me, I can pretty much reach all the way down to the floor as if I had 45-pound plates in the gym or when tonal's at its bottom position. Now, if you have a hard time reaching the floor, keeping your spine straight, then that means you might need to raise tonal up a little bit or raise your bar up away from the floor a little bit more. So what that might look like, let's say you get down to the bottom position either on tonal or with your 45-pound plates and you find that your back is like this. If your back is like this, what this tells you is that your hamstrings are a little bit tight. So shortened hamstrings are then gonna pull the pelvis down in the back and put flexion into the spine. So in order to combat that, all you need to do is just lift your bar up a little bit. So that might mean just lifting the tonal arms up or lifting the rack up or putting weight underneath the plates at the gym. Once you've done that, then you can come into a straight spine. So that's just the first part. Like, we first just need to find your body position that works for you. So find the position where your bar needs to come in order for your spine to be straight the entire time. There is no shame in bringing the bar up. Most people who do the deadlift need to bring the bar up at least a little bit. That could be due to tight hamstrings or even just your anatomy. You might have anatomy that just makes it harder for you to get to the bottom, and that's okay. Just find the range of motion and the position that makes it work for you so that your spine can be straight the whole time. Okay, so now that we know like where our hands are gonna be, our body position, we're gonna attach to tonal. And just to review, I'm gonna bring my hands wider than my shoulders so that they're outside of my knees, and then my feet are hip distance and my toes are forward. As far as how I'm positioned related to tonal, I want you at a position where the balls of your feet are at the end of the tonal arms so that the bar is touching your shins at the bottom, okay? This is gonna be hard. Maybe you were able to have the bar low before and then you get into position, and now being able to keep the bar on the shins is really challenging. That's normal. That's another sign that you should maybe start from a higher position like this. So at the bottom, we have knee flexion and hip flexion. So knees are bent, hips are bent. We don't want to be like this. This is more like an RDL with the straight knees. We want knees bent, hips bent, so that you have knee flexion and hip flexion. Before you begin, you're gonna engage your lats. I like to think about breaking the bar in half. Squeeze the lats, the muscles that cover the shoulder blades. I want you to inhale through the belly, draw the navel in, and then squeeze the glutes before you even lift. From here, squeeze and slide the bar up the thighs. Reach the hips back like someone's pulling you from behind. Hips go back, 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 back. Big stretch in your hamstrings as you bend the knees and bend the hips. I'll give you another rep. I'm gonna do one more, I want you to watch, and then I'm gonna break down the hip and knee movement of the deadlift. So important notes. A lot of the times if the weight is too heavy or we haven't gotten the rhythm down, what we'll see is as we stand, the knees will extend and then the hips extend. We don't want that. We want the hips and knees extending together. So make sure that when you stand, you're not extending and then extending at the hips. You're extending the knees and hips together, and that looks like this. So knees and hips both extend at the same time. Now, as you lower, here are some important things to think about. As you lower, start the movement with the hips. So you want to reach the hips back, and that's how the eccentric phase starts. So reach the hips back like you're trying to reach to the wall behind you, like someone's pulling you from behind. This puts a stretch into the hamstrings. As the bar slides down the thighs, bend the knees as the hips bend as well, so that you end in the same position that you started. Again, extend the knees and hips together. Reach the hips back. Reach, 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 reach. Stretch the back of the thighs, bend the knees as the bar slides down. Squeeze the glutes, break the bar, stand tall. So notice the bar does not leave my thighs or my legs the entire time. I'm gonna show you a couple from the front. If you're thinking, wow, this is a lot to think about, yeah, you're right. It is a lot to think about, and it should, if you're doing it right, it should be a lot to think about. Okay, so bar is at my shins. My knees are just ahead of my ankles slightly. My hips are back, my knees are bent. Engage the lats, so break the bar. Squeeze the glutes. Slide the bar up the thighs as the knees and the hips extend. From here, reach the hips back. Reach, 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 reach. Stretch the back of the thighs as the knees bend and the hips bend. Notice my spine position never changes. My spinal position is exactly the same the entire time. Engage the lats. Reach the hips back. I'll give you a couple more. Stretch the back of the thighs. I really can't emphasize how much a stretch in the hamstrings is important. If you feel that stretch as you lower, that's a good sign that you're reaching your hips back far enough. Oh, and one thing I forgot to note is the position of the head. Make sure the chin stays tucked the whole time. So as you come up, no neck extension. That tells you that your neck extensors are trying to help with the deadlift. And they're definitely not meant to do the deadlift. So keep the chin tucked so that when you're at the top, you're looking forward. And when you're at the bottom, you're looking at the floor. Y'all, this is weightless. And that got me. That exercise is a lot. There's a lot that is involved in the deadlift. So if that feels like a lot of information or a whole bunch of things that you never even thought about when you've done a deadlift, that's okay, that's normal. It is really challenging. So I encourage you to watch this video more than once. Maybe review it before you do deadlift. So every time you have a deadlift, come back to this video, watch it, and just remind yourself of the important cues. The most important part is just ensuring that the spine is straight and that you don't feel pain during this exercise. If you're feeling the glutes and hamstrings and you're feeling work the next day, maybe there's a little bit of soreness or your body's talking to you that you did some work, there's a good sign you're doing it right. But all of these things are gonna help you do it even better and get even stronger. If you have any additional questions, which I have a feeling you might, feel free to comment below. I'm Nicolette Amarillas, and I can't wait to see you again next time. Bye.